Hello. Hello to the replay viewers. Welcome. Hey, it's Brick again. Just wanted to reach out and finish our discussion. Just getting back from a little gathering tonight for a friend, and now I'm here. I'm going to finish up. And I promised that I was going to talk about 3 of my favorites. And you know what? This is my favorite essential oil. Frankincense. If I could only have one oil, for the rest of my life, it would be my choice. And I'm going to try to give you a little glimpse of that here tonight. But if you don't know me, I'm Brick, and I am blessed to be a part of your group this month. Invited by my sweet friend Brittany, and we focus on similar things in that it's important to us how people are doing their whole life. And my thing is live well, feel well, be well. And that's always going to be my heart, that as long as you know me, whether we're in this group together or I get to keep you in my guest room overnight or visit you where you live, I'm going to want you to be well. And my main modality that I use is oils or oil infused products. Now, some of those I make myself. I'm a DIYer. But I gotta tell you, I don't have a lot of time these days to do the DIY stuff. So a lot of things I just buy pre-made. And it's an enjoyable thing for me to know that the products I'm using are not going to poison me, and they're not going to poison anyone. I don't know about you, if you've got little kids in your lives, if you've got children or grandchildren, you're a teacher, but they're always in our purse or in our bags or in our cupboards, and they pay attention. And your dogs and your cats, they're really low to the ground. So it's good to know that what you're taking into the body, what you're breathing, what you're eating, what you're thinking. That's another hot point of mine. Really important. Garbage in, garbage out. So let's just out the garbage, huh? So I'm all about chemical-free me, chemical-free home, chemical-free baby, chemical-free pet, you name it. And again, I use other things, but the majority of the products that I use are essential oils. Now tonight, I'm going to be focusing on my favorite essential oil, which is, and it's going to be backwards, but frankincense. So frankincense has so many amazing properties. It really is a great support spiritually and emotionally. All of our emotional blends, I think I can say most all of our blends have frankincense in them. And there's a reason for that. When Gary Young was explaining to us years ago about frankincense, he said, all of the essential oils have, this is good to know too, many constituents. Like when you buy something from the store that you're going to take for a malady of some kind, it has a couple of constituents because it's been created by man. However, essential oils were not created by man. They were created by God. And if you were in our first chat together, I had my husband grab a leaf, and I showed you that the essential oils are basically the lifeblood of the plant. How exciting is that? I mean, that, like our blood, it gives us the color in our skin. It carries the oxygen through our body, and it similarly carries the toxins out. And there's just so much that we could say about the blood, but the essential oils are the lifeblood of the plant. So, and I'm just going to tell you, we covered this earlier, so if you didn't catch this afternoon's, there's 4 different grades of essential oils. These essential oils I will always be talking about are Young Living essential oils. This is our frankincense with Young Living. We have, actually we have 3 varieties, 2 varieties. I don't know that I have, oh yeah, I've got my little spray bottle. This is a little hack of mine. These bottles, when they're empty, there's just like a drop left. Well, we're not going to have that go to waste. No. So when I was at convention this year, somebody was selling these little spray tops, and you just have to cut the, this is my DIY moment here. You just have to cut the insert way down so that it fits. But look, I don't have to waste any, not even one little tiny bit of my sacred, this is sacred frankincense from Oman. But that's the bottle I carry with me, and it's a holy anointing oil, and really good for so many things. But this is the same oil. If you were in my last class, Young Living is the only company that has edible oils labeled for use. The FDA came in around to protect us in 2014, and I say that because seriously, if these ever had to be monitored or they had to be approved by the FDA, we wouldn't have them. They would just be way too expensive. It's a very expensive process to test, many years long. So I'm grateful. I'm so grateful. So they wanted us to label them for internal or external use. And well, the majority of oils with Young Living, we've been doing internal and external since the beginning of our company, which we are nearly 25 years old now. And we are on every continent except for Antarctica. And we have our own farms and partner farms across the world. And they're each chosen for one reason or another. But the majority of the time it has to do with the quality of the land, and the majority of our farms that we own, 18 farms, they were virgin soil. So, and if they're not virgin soil, if we're partnering with someone and we're using their land and stewarding their land with our seed or our plants, then their land had to be 50 years free of any kind of chemical. So we for the most part, we buy, for the most part, we buy virgin land. Like we bought, now I'm digressing, but we bought a forest in British Columbia to grow primarily to have use of black spruce. And black spruce is such a grounding oil. It's very good for our men. It's good for women too, but it's extremely good for men. Very, very good for them to keep them all that they can be, if you know what I mean. It's another story altogether. But anyway, like I said, I digress. I'm going back to frankincense here. So I've actually got a little bit of a history lesson that I want to give you, and I promise it won't be boring and I won't keep you very long. But the frankincense trail, that's an antiquity. Way back in biblical times, and during the time where they were carrying spices, country to country, there was a frankincense trail that still exists today, but you could travel it to get your frankincense from point A to point B, and that would be the way that you would find frankincense. So the major frankincense trail started in Zufar, which is presently Dhofar, and headed west through the present-day Yemen, and then headed northwest paralleling the Red Sea in present-day Saudi Arabia and Jordan. And then the major stop, it went up the Red Sea and stopped at Petra. If you don't know that geography, well, I'm going to just bless you right now so you can see it. I've got a little video here, and it's 17 seconds long. If it's gonna, there we go. But you can see the frankincense trail. Sorry about the glare on there, people, but you can kind of see how it goes there. And that was quite the trip. They would take it on camels, and Gary Young actually retraced the steps of that trail for a movie one time, and our frankincense comes from there. In fact, Young Living is the only company. I'm just going to read this to you. Young Living is the first and only company in the world to distill and export Omani sacred frankincense oil and bring it into the Western world. The Boswellia sacred trees, and I'm going to talk about Boswellia quite a bit here. The Boswellia sacred trees in this region carry a rich history, having been harvested from the past 5,000 years. Today, their resin is harvested by the same method, on the same schedule, and that's going to be important to remember, as they have done for centuries to this day. Now, this is frankincense right here. This is a huge piece. I wouldn't burn this one. This is actually, it's a resin. And if you were holding it, if you were at my house, and if you're near Chicago and you want to come visit, reach out. I just love company. But anyway, this is frankincense. It comes goopy, kind of like a gum out of the trees, and people who are correctly stewarding frankincense trees know how and when to cut and how this is done. And there are people right now pillaging the northern African tree farms. You can only get sacred frankincense in a few countries. Ours is sacred frankincense, and it comes from Oman. And we actually have a distillery there. And then we have another distillery that used to be, we gathered all of the Boswellia sacra is what that one's called. I'm kind of cheating. It's 2 oils tonight instead of 1. But the one that we use and is in our starter kit is really the workhorse frankincense, Boswellia coteri, and that's spelled like Carterry. Boswellia is the name that I would like for you to do your own little research. Write down, if you get a chance, just have a sec, write down PubMed. PubMed. PubMed is the public medical record and research site, and anybody can go on there and look, and you will be blown away. I cannot tell you, I'm not allowed to tell you, this is a public forum. I'm not allowed to tell you what frankincense can do, but it's pretty amazing. So what you need to do is you need to Google PubMed, and then once you get into the PubMed site, put in Boswellia, Boswellia, and just see there's over 500 entries of medical studies that have been done using the Boswellia extract from frankincense. Now, Boswellia sacra is from the same trees as the Holy of Holies, the frankincense that was in the Holy of Holies way back in biblical time. Boswellia coteri, there are many different varieties of frankincense. In fact, Gary Young taught us that when you go to market, you just go to market, you don't go to a farm, and they're all laid out on the table. What they typically do is they take their hand or their stick and they say, I would like 2 pounds or whatever. They just take this resin and they just sweep it off the table. But Gary's like, no, I only want that one and that one, because the rest of the varieties had absolutely no medicinal value. Now, the word frankincense actually means, it's the same word as incense. So I showed you this in my first video, but I always have. This is awesome. This is not my original burner, but I've only had 2 now. You can get this on Amazon. Young Living sells them too, but I like this one better. This one of the few times I'll point you somewhere else. But what you do is you put the resin in there, and it burns. See how black it is? But it's resin. It's going to smoke, and this is very grounding. When I travel, this goes with me in my carry-on, and I go to some random hotel room or Airbnb, and yeah, I even took it on a cruise. Don't tell anybody. But it just is very grounding, and you know what? Wherever I am is my place, because I have grounded that area. Now, you don't have to use the incense. You can use the oil in a diffuser. You can use the oil under your tongue if you ever feel weak. I'm a professional singer, and a lot of times singers have vocal cords that are like a steel box, and you can abuse them all you want. Not me. I have like a china teacup vocal cords, and I sing. I have a very powerful mechanism, and I'm also a chatterbox, so I'm a vocal overdoer, and I have actually broken my vocal cords not once, but twice. And I had surgery the first time. It was horrible, terrible. I had to be completely silent for 5 days after the surgery. I nearly died, seriously. And my family was like, we don't understand what to do. It was like, and before that, I had to go on 22 hours a day of vocal rest. Now, those of you who know me, I know Kelsey, Brittany, some of y'all know me here, Jess, I can't, it's hard for me to be quiet, but what I learned was I could put frankincense under my tongue to strengthen me, and I do this daily. I did it right before I came on today. So again, when I'm speaking publicly, I'm going to tell you, you would want to use the frankincense vitality for that. Again, internal, external, culinary, supplemental, everything else. However, these are the same oil. This was just a brainchild. Some genius at Young Living decided, I know what we do when the FDA said we have to label these differently. We're just going to put a little white label on this, kind of harken back to, you know, the culinary coats and the white coats, you know, in a medical facility, and you know, you can see, obviously. But I've got these in my kitchen, but it's the same oil, and I'm going to just tell y'all, when this goes empty, then I fill it up with this. This is less expensive because it's 15 mil and it's the same oil. All right, so for down through the ages, frankincense has been known for beauty usage. So if you were on my live this afternoon, you know that I talked about this little blue bottle. This little blue bottle here is my face spray. I've used it. I'm a lot older than, I'm not going to probably tell you how old I am, but that's fine. I have grandchildren, just so you know, 2 little granddaughters. But I have been using this spray for some 15 years. And I just, you know, everybody that asks me, what do I do about my skin? You know, if people call me freaking out, I'm like, keep it simple, people. Go back to simple. And basically what I do is every night I wash my face with a lavender soap that Young Living has. I don't DIY that. I just don't have time for that. And then I spray my face with this, and it's so hard to make. No. It's 7 drops of, I'll just tell you my little secret, 7 drops of lavender oil, Young Living, and then 5 to 7 drops of frankincense. And you can use sacred frankincense if you want, but really, like I said, workhorse, red guy. Yeah, I use that one. And that's the one I use in my mouth too. Like when we run out of this, if I don't have it, then I will use this one for that. But this is the anointing oil. When I pray over people, this is what I use. It's in a spray bottle, because if you missed that, if you came in late, this is my little hack to get the last little drop of oil out of this bottle. So, but yeah, so anyway, when I'm going to be spending some time trying to center myself and get my thoughts together to go to prayer, to lead worship, I've got my sacred frankincense with me to set the atmosphere. I've got maybe my resin, and you can also get this from Young Living. I think I brought, did I bring? Yeah, you can buy this. You can buy resin. It's $16 wholesale. It's kind of crazy. Get all, I mean, I've emptied this bag, but I've got a new one upstairs. That's what you put in here, and you know, every once in a while you get a nice big piece like that, and then you could save it too. But yeah, I'm just gonna put some of this in my diffuser, or my resin burner. But it's just real small, and I was gonna show you. Cleopatra used frankincense in her beauty care, and she used it for wrinkle protection and such, but she also used it, as a lot of the Egyptians did, to put their eyeliner on. And I don't know, we talked a little bit in the last video about, and you can see this really once you put the frankincense in. Can you see that? Yeah, it's really going to town. This small room I'm in, I'm going to have to turn that off in a minute. It's just going to be too much. But it really does calm you. It really helps you be calm. And I tell people all the time, take control of your atmosphere. Oh my goodness. You know, life is hard enough. And if you've got mindset issues going on and your mind's always telling you blah, 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 you know, like you wake up in the morning and your list is a mile long, frankincense, go get some and just watch your focus. Watch your focus come in. Frankincense is in a lot of our blends. One's called Brain Power for a reason. I really think that frankincense can be used for so many things. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say any of the physical ones, but I just have to tell you this one because it's an anecdote. My son is just a great guy, never has any medical stuff, but if he gets cut, he's a bleeder. He bleeds. And if you're an O, if you're blood type O, you don't have much of a K factor. Get some frankincense. It changes all that. Nosebleeds, things like that, just Shuts that right down. So, all right, back to my frankincense story. So we have all kinds of recipes, DIY recipes that you can do yourself, or you can buy, like, listen to this title, Boswellia wrinkle cream. Yeah, so you can just put frankincense neat. If you don't know what that means, it means without anything else. You can just put that neat right on your skin. It's very, very mild. We anoint our newborn babies with this. But you can just put it, wherever you wanna minimize lines and wrinkles. The other thing I really suggest is, while it's on your hands, please make a cup and smell that right into your brain. Smell that right into your brain. Come on, I don't waste any of it. Seriously, right now, when nobody's looking, I might even lick my hand. I'm not kidding you. Because why? I don't want that all to go to waste. And by the way, this is also really good for vision. If I wasn't on camera right now, I might be tempted to cup my eyes and just open my eyes, and you'll feel a little burning feeling, but it's not hurting your eyes. It's actually clearing. What frankincense does is it goes in and it sort of just takes care of bad cells. You can imagine like what that would do in the body, right? So you need to look that up yourself, because I can't tell you that. But frankincense, we use it, like I said, externally, internally. We use it aromatically, and I love it in every single way. In fact, I brought this to show you. So I haven't had dinner yet, so I'm not going to actually do this. I was going to do this late afternoon, but guess what this is? Dark chocolate, right? Okay, well, do you guys know that all the dark chocolate isn't good for you? You do know that, right? Like, dark chocolate's so good for us, but be careful, because some of the dark chocolate is tainted. And just, again, Google that. Do you know we've got to take this into our own hands now? It's on us to know what we're doing. So, all right, so this is actually, I'm going to give you one of my best dark chocolate tips. This is Mosher Roth. No, I'm not getting any kickback from them. This is 80, I think this is the 80% one. But you can get it at Aldi's. And this is a safe dark chocolate. But one of my favorite things to do, especially for a fancy dessert, is just give everybody just a little piece of chocolate like this and put a couple of drops of frankincense vitality on it, or maybe one. And then maybe a little bit of either if you do whipped cream, a little bit of homemade whipped cream, or a piece of fruit like cherry or strawberry or whatever. And people are like, what is that? I'm like, well, just go ahead and try it. And it's a good conversation piece, but it's also just so yummy, and it's so good for you. Mood changes with frankincense. It does. And again, I tell you what, people are like, oh, how do you put that in your mouth? Well, I got to tell you a funny story. So I'm a singer, right? And I'm at church one Sunday night, I think, or Saturday night. I was leading worship, and our church is a good sized church, and I was back in the green room, and I'm like, oh, I'm feeling kind of stressed with my voice. So I took, my frankincense, a couple drops under my tongue was my plan. I'm going to give you a little hint with frankincense. In most of these 15 ml bottles, there's about 250 drops. In the frankincense bottle, it's probably more like 350, because its viscosity is really tiny. So when you go dumping this under your tongue, I think I had 10 drops under my tongue. My husband walks in, I'm seriously in the green room going, oh my God, I think I put 10 drops under my tongue. And I didn't want to waste it. So just between us, I kind of spit it out and put it in my hair, because I didn't know that I should swallow that much. That was when I was first starting to use it under my tongue. Oh my gosh. My husband comes in and, he talked to me later, and he goes, did you do something with the frankincense in the hallway out front? And I'm like, no. And he goes, well, like I walked in the front door and I smelled it. That's nuts. And then our church is an auditorium. It's huge. It's like, we used to be like used, multi-purpose. We had one of these in there one time, and I just for a prayer meeting, and I closed it up, and then I turned it off, and I went home, and I came back like an hour later. We opened the front doors of the church. Same thing. I mean, there's something about frankincense. Come on now. Remember when I told you that essential oils have 100 and some constituents, and they break down as like camphor, menthol, things that you may have heard of, and then there'll be things you will have never heard of. Well, with frankincense, there are a couple of lines where it's like, we still don't know. We still don't know what that is, but it's a constituent, but we don't know what it is. Really interesting. And there are people that will tell you a lot more about that. I can't, because I sell essential oils, and I can't take a chance. I want our company to be around for a real long time. So, all right. So what I was going to tell you is one more fact here. And if you're interested in learning more, I'm all about teaching and education. You want to do oils, you want to learn about essential oils, I gotcha. You will always get me. That's me. And my essential oil site is Oils in Every Home. And you could just go back and read. But again, this is going to be backwards, but I'll just show you that there are approximately 40 million trillion molecules in one drop of therapeutic grade essential oil. And that's going to be about 40,000 molecules per cell in your body. So this is bang for your buck. This is bang for your buck. These are so small, and like I said earlier, they're so pure. On our farms and on our partner farms, the rules are really strong about the way you carry yourself, even with your attitude. If you have a bad attitude, Gary caught a couple people fighting one time, and he sent them home. And the next day, he brought them back, and he showed them that there would be a very low amount of oil that would come out of. I think it was Melissa, and Melissa's a very dry leaf. It's only, you can grow acres and acres and acres of it and still only get a small harvest. That's why it's so expensive. It's one of the most expensive oils. It's used a lot for supporting children with autism and so many things that, again, I probably shouldn't have even said that. I'm so sorry. But anyway, you can do your own research about these oils. But these two guys were fisticuffs, fighting. And so, Gary said, grab some of that oil and come back here, and they distilled it. And they didn't get a drop of oil, not one drop. Melissa's she's like a fine lady. You can't distill that oil unless it's the right time of day. It can't be too hot. It can't be too early. It can't be too close to lunchtime. It can never be dropped in the dirt. There's just all these things. And this is the way we care for oils. Now, that's when you hear me talking about oils, that's the standard I'm talking about. I'm not talking about I really don't know. And there are people who have done their due diligence on this. Look up Jen O'Sullivan. She's an aromatherapist. She's really good to do unbiased research, and and all of her stuff, you can take a look at it. I think if anybody wants me to, I can add you to her private page too. So, okay, Rogine, where were we at here? Uplifting, anointing, okay. And again, for spiritual purposes, sacred frankincense would be my choice, but I do use this one as well. And again, I can't stress enough that this oil is beyond people. And I carry it with me everywhere I go in many different forms. In fact, sometimes I get choked up because I think I'm carrying, frankincense in my purse. Usually 2 varieties of frankincense with me everywhere I go. I'm at the ready. What do you need? Seriously, most of the time I carry enough oil with me. Jess will tell you. But anyway, so frankincense trees grow for a lifetime, and it isn't an overnight deal. So they have to be stewarded and really carefully taken care of. We are the only ones that are in Oman where the sacred frankincense is, and I tell you, we are so blessed, and that's a fun story, how that all happened. But I just tell you that for me, this is one of the highlights of my life, to have essential oils in my life. And if you're I don't know, I kind of tried them and I've got them in my cupboard, and I was there once too. I like the smell of eucalyptus, and I wanted rosemary to clean with, and I got those, but you know, sometimes I got a little headache from them, and now I understand it's because they were chemicals. And the distillation process, it should be very clean and pure and low heat, but sometimes they actually use chemicals to extract particular oils. But I'm probably gonna say like, Ro, you forgot to tell them. But anyway, well, I'm not going anywhere. So if you guys have questions, I prefer the chatting, and I do see some people are on. Maybe I should see, I've got a couple minutes here. If anybody wants to talk, you could say, pick me and we could try it. Oh, you know who Jen is. Yeah, Jen O'Sullivan, whoa. And you know what, that's so cool. Like with my company, it's like Team YL. Everybody just kind of shares their information and everything, but that girl, oh my gosh. Like she probably does a Facebook Live a day or 2 a day, and it doesn't matter what you need to know. Oh, and then there's this girl named Lucy Libido. That's a whole other story. The things she's figured out, like with goldenrod, for example, or Idaho blue spruce. Those would be your friends, girls, let me just tell you. Or cypress. Yeah, there's a t-shirt that says, and I haven't talked about the thieves oil yet, but thieves in the streets, cypress in the sheets. So that'd be another interesting class. But I defer to the master there, Lucy Libido, which is a funny, it's just kind of her nickname. I don't even know what her real name is, but anyway, well, I'm wrapping this up, and it looks like this is a better time than the afternoon for y'all, so I'll try to pop on at this time if I can. In the Midwest, this is class time around here, and dinner time comes a little bit after, but I just asked if somebody wanted to come on here. Does anybody want to come on? Yeah. Well, thank you for joining me, and joining me live, because I'm a people person. And I just decided I was going to give this the college try again today. So tell your people and share this video. You can't share it, but I mean, you could, if somebody's over, you can show it to them. It'll always live in your private community here. But God bless you guys. And I wouldn't call myself an expert, because, wow, what does that even mean? Like, but if you need help with something, reach out, because it's my joy, really, to help people in any way I can. And whether it's a physical, emotional, relational, or spiritual need, there's an oil for that. There really is. And I'm a certified aroma freedom technique practitioner, and that's a lot like EMF treatment, where you can go in and not have to relive every nasty, terrible thing that ever happened to you, but you can clear it. And it's pretty amazing. So I'd really love to do one of those in this group, but y'all would need to have at least samples of these Young Living oils, because we would be breathing a lot, like a lot of volume of them right into your amygdala. And I took an oath that I would never lead that unless I knew the people were using the correct oils. So, okay, well, hey guys, I'm gonna go have some dinner with my man, and I will be back probably quite a bit this week, and try to catch you all up. I really want to cover, give me some feedback too, will you all? But I've been asked to cover pets, and I'm excited about that. But I'd also like to do the chemical-free home, chemical-free you, because, man, a lot of people wake up too late. I got to tell you this one thing before I go. I had a girl in one of my classes one night, and she was a niece of one of my best friends, and she said, "Yeah, I'm in premenopause." And I'm like, "Excuse me, what?" Like, I'm sorry, but like, I normally don't ask, but like, how old are you? And she goes, "I'm 27. I was like, okay. Could we just do a little Q&A? Like, when I meet with people one-on-one, I actually have a service where I help people that really need a lot of help. And we look through everything, like we look like everything from what's your blood type to what kind of water are you drinking to what are you eating to like, are you angry? Like, how much are you sleeping? You know, that kind of stuff. What's your stress level? Okay, well, anyway, I said to her, and this I promise will be my last little story, but I said to her, do you know about hormone disruptors? And she goes, no. And I said, so do you use any Glade plugins or anything like that, like air fresheners, like Downy? Sorry to mention these names, but you know, like that kind of thing. And she said, oh, I've got air fresheners. And her family was like, in every room in my house and 2 in my car. And I'm like, you got to get those out of there. I'm just going to tell you right now. You got to get those out of there. And if you guys don't know, there's scary stuff in there. In fact, it's a plastic a lot of times. And it's going in, you're breathing it in, that slippery feeling on the clothes after you've used Downy or something like that, Febreze or whatever, that slippery feeling that you feel, ooh, it's like a plastic. It's made out of the same stuff. It's got that petrol element. Well, all of a sudden what ends up happening, and this is just a little education, is your body says we don't need any more estrogen because we have enough. It's a fake estrogen. And God forbid our men, they don't need estrogen, but this is a fake estrogen that's coming over from those crinkly water bottles particularly. So things like just drinking out of a glass bottle, we started shifting some of those things, and I made a couple of oil suggestions, had her look into a few things herself, and I'm happy to tell you that she's doing very well. But again, what if she had never learned that? So, born to be a teacher, happy to help. So let me know what you guys want to hear. I've got, I probably got about 3 classes left before the end of the month here. All right. And I'll be around too. So if you are interested in joining any of my communities, I can let you know about that too. And if anybody's got emotional stuff going on and you want to do an hour with me, reach out. I'll give you a $50 discount. Just say I said, and you're a part of this community. All right. All right, guys. Good night. Good night. If you came in late, see it from the beginning. And thanks again for joining. And remember, there's just nobody like you. So take the time to take care of you. Remember what they say on the airplanes, to put your oxygen mask on first. If you don't, you're not going to be around to take care of others. I'm sorry to say, this world is full of way too much poison. So no poisons and take care of you, all right? So remember, it's important to live well, then you feel well, and then you will be well. All right. Well, good night, you all. Go ahead and look on Oils in Every Home and like my page over there, and just reach out and tell me how you're doing. Add me as a friend. I'd love to have you. All right. Brogene Brick. Good night, y'all. Bye.